Hey, it's 3 o'clock on Thursday.
Yay!
Welcome to the Land Investors Weekly Conference Call. All
hmm We are so glad you're here.
no
Hey,
good.
it's June. Can you believe it?
No, I can't.
Oh my gosh.
The year's half over.
I
I hope we're all
know.
buying the property that we wanted to buy.
Exactly. I can't believe it's June. So
Jill,
cool.
kick us off with the first question.
All right, I'm just going to dive right in. Rod asks, "Hi, wonderful to be here to get again. Glad you're here, Rod. How would you advertise a property that straddles a hill? The slope on the hill on one side is up about 40 feet, and then down on the other hill slope 16 feet. There's a road on both sides. Well, Luke has actually bought and sold many of these. And Luke has even like had mountain climbers reaching out, to buy some of his stuff. So none of this is crazy. Uh, you know, Gorgeous hilltop property, and make it crystal clear in your description so you don't have any surprise refunds because they didn't know what they were getting into, exactly what it is. And you'll appeal to the right person. So this is one of those classic to me that just because it's not my cup of tea doesn't mean it's not a perfect thing for somebody. Like, I want trees and I want wooded, right? But there's a lot of people that go, oh, I don't want that. I got to move the trees in the wood, to do whatever I want with it, kind of thing. So,
You got to make sure the economics of this thing really work, though. So hopefully you're buying it super, super cheap and not expecting to get anything more than what you're doubling your money for.
mhm,
So while what Jill's saying is totally true, there is a point where it gets to be, the lack of attribute or attribute as it may be is too much to overcome for anybody. So it's pretty rare. This doesn't sound like that's the situation. But you
mhm,
want to make sure you're really disclosing what the property is. That's all.
mhm. Exactly. I mean, that's the big thing. If you bought it right, don't worry about it, and just roll it into your inventory and make it clear. Cool. All right, so Jean said, oh, nice going. Jean said, I just want to let you guys know in the last 11 days, I've sold 4 properties, of which one of the buyers was a lead that came from Landpin. The bigger headline however, is that I sold off all of what remaining inventory I purchased on my first mailer. That's fantastic. That means I cashed in and out of 9 different properties in the span
Wow.
of 2 months. There
Awesome.
we go. Why do I mention all this? Not to brag, but rather as a testimony of how well your program works. I'm very pleased with my results so far and the way I'm spending my free time. That
Awesome.
is awesome.
Why we do this, man.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. That is cool. All right. Luke said, is there a link on Landpin for maps? If you click it, I get a map to where I'm at and not the property.
Really?
Hmm.
Landpin is being I'll look into that, Luke. That's wild. I know that Landpin is getting released, will be released in the next 2 weeks, the next version of it. And so that may be an interim issue or not. That's good to know though. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Excuse me. Jason said, when taking this is good because we were talking about this kind of stuff. When taking on an equity partner that's going to take on all of the acquisition costs, and I'm doing all the work. In terms of equity, what percentage is the work typically worth? I
You know,
say for you, Jason, 90. Just kidding.
totally preference, but
No.
I like 50-50 partnerships. The best partnerships that we've ever had are deals where we absorb all the acquisition costs, like the cost of the mailer and all the data and the whole thing, overhead, employees, and all of it. And then we bring up a money partner in who pays for 100% of the acquisition, and we split it 50-50 when it's sold. So that's how we structure our deals. But it sounds like you got a good situation where someone's just going to put you in business. They're going to provide the money. You're going to provide the sweat. I still would go with 50-50, and I would
Mm-hmm.
take the distributions. I would map out how you're going to take the money out before you even start. So let's say every month you look at the cash balance and you take out X, or you don't take it out at all. The important thing is that you agree with your partner up front and not just decide how you take the money out as you go. If you take any money out, maybe you decide, we've had partnerships, Joe and I have had partnerships where everybody puts $10,000 in, and when it gets to be $1 million, we all take out, $100,000 each, whatever it ends up being.
Let it ride for a long time.
But we all know what to expect before we even start. That's my point. Unlike a marriage where you have no idea what's going on.
Jack. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Is this Michael? I don't remember who was We Buy Land Company. Hey, any tips on closing through a title company and motivating? Oh, this is good. Oh boy, tell me. And motivating them to move quickly. It's hilarious. They told me 30 days closing, and I want to make sure that happens and push them to be quicker if possible.
Yeah, the speech that I give a title company is that, look, man, there's no lenders. There's no financing. There's no inspection. It's a cash deal. There's no reason we can't close this as soon as the title plant comes back. So the reason that it takes the 30 days is they're waiting for the title plant to do their job, which is in some cases in these rural counties, they got to send a guy out there. He's got to sit down at the county and run through the documents literally to make sure the chain of title is okay. That's what's holding everything up. So you can pay them more. You can offer to pay them more. You can tell them you're buying a bunch of properties in that area. But everybody on this call who's ever done this knows that 30 days is actually not that bad for a rural county.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mason. Yeah, it is. I know it's. You have to check in with them sometimes. You know what I would do, Mason? I might put a reminder on my phone and stuff and just give them a call every couple of days if you don't hear from them to say, do you need anything? Do you need anything? Because you don't know how high their desk is stacked up, and they may say, oh, yeah, I'm glad you called. I was just going to run this by you, whatever it is, because there could be something and they're just not motivated. So.
Here's what else you want to do. You want to call the seller every once in a while, like put an alarm on your phone or however you do that with your CRM. And call the seller and say, man, can you believe how long these guys are taking to close this deal? And what you're really doing is making sure they still want to do the deal. And if it's a smoking deal, there's nothing stopping you from just doing the deed and then wait. So now you own it, but you're still going through title to get a title policy. Nothing stopping you to do that at all. You want to explain that, Joe?
No. No. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you could transfer ownership separately. Doing your own. I mean, Jack's right, and then letting this process play itself out, just so you have the title policy. But if there's already, I don't know how you want to work the money out with them. So, but that's another thing you could do too. Mm-hmm. Oh, he wants to close through ESCO. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, you know what? Then Jack's thing's perfect. Then there's really nothing you could do. Okay, here's what you could do. You could also have your posting ready to go. How about this? Yeah. Let's get this all ready to go. So the minute you hear, we received your funds and we're now, you could, push that button and get it, out there and posted. So you're really ready. So Cool. Good question. Tomas asked, would it be easier to roll a 401k to a self-directed 401k to make it easier to buy land? On my company 401k, buying land is treated like a hardship.
Yeah. Meaning when you pull it out, you get a ton of penalties.
Oh.
So this is buying land with a self-directed 401k is a fantastic idea. You're using the money that you really wouldn't have control over otherwise. As far as a company 401k and a self-directed 401k, which I think is what's it called? An IRIS or something like that? IRA. You're really going to have to check with, this is kind of beyond the scope of what, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've done it in the past, but you're going to have to check because the information I have is more than 4 years old. So I don't want to answer it wrong, but I know what you're trying to do and I'm sure some version of it will work.
Cool. Before I lose my pants on this market, love it. Hey, you know what? By the way, I want to follow up. Thank you, Mason. He said, by the way, he already put a little ad out there. This is Mason. Nice job. He already has 2 interested buyers for this property. So that is awesome. Good.
That's really motivational to tell a potential buyer, to say, look, I have a bunch of people that are really interested in this and I'm just not closed on it yet. What you could do is say, but if you really want it bad, we can dual escrow this thing and then call it the title agent and just have them close the deal for you too. You double close it.
Yeah.
Is that clear, Joe?
Totally. This is a good one. Michael asked, do you ever pre-sell property because you have it under agreement, like wholesaling houses?
Yeah, I just said exactly what I just said just now. Absolutely, we do.
Yep.
We have there's a guy in inland California that buys a ton of property from Jill and I, tons of property. He's a reseller, and he tells us, yes, he puts his order in all the time, and we send stuff out. I've asked him 50 times to join Land Academy. It's like, nah, I'd just rather buy it from you guys.
Isn't that hilarious?
His daughter works for him, and she does all the work. So all he does is just talk to Jill once in a while and buys a bunch of property, and then she sells it.
It is the funniest thing. They're happy with this arrangement, and there you go. Perfect.
That's why you don't see a little to any property that, we should post a property, Jill, but we sell it all before we buy it.
It doesn't hit my stuff lately. So you're correct. All right. Farron asks, dude, I like you, that rurallandwatch.com. Boy, that was a good one. I like that name. Have you guys ever posted, oh goodness, yeah, a fake ad for property to gauge interest in an area prior to doing the mailing there?
Oh my God, I would never do that. That sounds dishonest and awful. Hell yes, we have.
Totally.
And I don't post like an APN with a picture of the exact property. We don't pull a fast one, but we do post property that says, yeah, we have 40 acres in this APN scheme. And if you were interested, let us know. The sale price is $8,000, and if you get 10 responses, then you send a mailer out. So the answer is heck yes.
Yep. Awesome.
Do it on Craigslist. Craigslist is a great place to do that, especially for like vacation type property.
Perfect. Thank you, David. David added in, he knows somebody for the self-directed IRA. So this is awesome. So you can reach out to David. Well, no questions. So I guess just kidding.
So Jill and I recorded a bunch of shows today. I'm going to do this 3:30 thing early because there's no questions posted.
Okay.
And she and I did a show about, it's called, I don't know, the name of the show is like the best companies or businesses that use data and how we can, model that, because really what this is all about is data. Real estate piece of it's cool and everything, but we can pretty much gauge what's going to happen based on the data in front of us, albeit it's not perfect. It's not a perfect science by any stretch, but by doing a little bit of research, you can price a mailer, get some stuff in the mail, and you can pretty much just gauge how much you're going to sell the property. Well, it's how much you're going to sell it for, and so on, and then keep moving through counties or whatever it is, neighborhoods, however you do it. Foursquare.com. Jill, can you describe what Foursquare is? And I'll talk about the analytics afterward.
Yeah, it's still around. Everybody remembers this from a while back. It was just kind of a place to check in to restaurants and kind of brag about where you are, if you will. And they also would run, and they still do, run little promotional things, like there might be discounts off your food or something special like that. So the overall gist hasn't changed, but they have a new COO or CEO, and that's where this is coming from, what you're talking about, Jack. So
it turns out they collect a ton of data. So if you, at any given time, the numbers are staggering, like 90 million check-ins a month, I think, Joe.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah,
so you go to a restaurant, you check in and you tell your friends the restaurant sucks, the restaurant's great, or whatever. Or you use a new Xbox game, it's great, it sucks, whatever. Well, 90 million people are doing this frequently. You start to find out, through the data, the big data piece of it. Let's say what restaurants, Chipotle, for example, is they predicted that Chipotle's earnings would go down one quarter dramatically. And they were right. So you can see and use all this aggregate data to your advantage and pretty much see into the future. If multiple people are reporting that any given restaurant, let's say, or any given product, the quality is declining or it doesn't work as it's advertised or whatever, you can see that there's going to be some problems. Well, as you would expect, companies will pay a tremendous amount of money for this kind of data to see so that they can stay on top of it, stay on top of
Mhm.
it. It just so happens that we're lucky as heck, all of us, to be in a business where we pretty much know what's going to happen before we buy a piece of property, and we use that data to make a decision on whether or not we're going to buy it.
Mhm.
So I really wanted to bring this up because the more creative ways that we can look at this incredibly kick-ass data set that we're using, RealQuest and some of the other stuff, the more successful we're all going to be. So my whole point is this: think in data, think in terms of data. Real estate is nice, but please continue to think in terms of the data and how to use it to your advantage.
That was perfect. Thank you, Jack.
Was it short enough, Joe?
No, it's good. That was perfect. No, I love it. That was really, really good. Kathleen asks, can you go into more detail about doing a notary close and then doing a title close in order to get title insurance? Oh, how is this presented to the escrow company, being that the money's already changed hands?
Right. So you want to do it, Joe?
No, yeah, or you go ahead. It's okay.
So if you get a letter back in the mail and it's signed and you do the research and you look it up and it's an, oh my God, we need to run to the bank and get this thing done situation where you can't believe that it's even real. And it passes all your acquisition tests and the ownership tests and everything. You do a notary close, but you call it, you open escrow, and you tell the escrow agent that you're in the business and you understand how this all works, and that you're going to send a notary over to the seller's house with all the self-generated documents. And while the notary is closing the deal, just like you weren't doing that, you buy the property and record it. So now you own the property. The seller has been paid. And then at the same time, you tell the seller and the notary, you're getting title insurance, and they'll be, in 3 weeks, the title agent / escrow person will be contacting them to do a deed on top of the deed that they just did to give it a title insurance policy. So the whole time you own the property, the whole point is you don't want them to change their mind, and you want title insurance within the next 30 or so days. Does that make sense, Joe?
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally. And it can even be totally 100% after the fact. For example, I've had where I've just done the transaction separately, like sold it, usually Kathleen, and then my buyer wants title insurance, and I just, I might, if I'm feeling nice or whatever, I know somebody in the area, whatever, I might say, call Betty over here. You can just purchase that separately, and they can do that, which is really cool. And then everybody's happy because I don't really want to, all right. You don't want to slow down the deal.
I mean, full disclosure, there is a very slight amount of risk, that the title company uncovers some kind of flaw in the title 3 owners before the one that you're dealing with now, and they won't issue insurance and all that stuff. There's a small risk in that, but if you do what you're supposed to do, like you do on every other deal, so the risk is so small that it doesn't matter. I don't think it's never happened to us. Knock on wood.
Exactly. Cool. Jason asked, I've got a potential lead on a 40 acres in Tulare County, California, property up against Forest Service wilderness that has decent access, 6 undocumented cabins and a well.
Sounds like a postcard.
Dude, seller wants to close to retail, yeah, but I'm assuming I can bid way lower since the cabins aren't documented and the banks won't lend, and a realtor couldn't move it quickly. Secondly, I don't have the capital, nearly the capital for the acquisition, so I can do an option and do a double close if I have a buyer who wants to be the end user. Okay. Do the other 2 parties learn of my profit margin during those dual close deals?
Yes. That's the way we do it. We disclose everything right before, we disclose, because they're going to find out.
Mm-hmm.
They're really, especially it's a small town, they're going to find out the whole thing. So my question is, are you just getting distracted down a rabbit hole in one deal versus learning how to manipulate data and do the stuff that we always talk about in the show?
That's my thing. If this is deal 30, have fun. You have 6 others you're working on, great, roll it into the thing. If this is deal 3 and it's taking you away from doing 7 more tomorrow, don't get too into this.
I'll tell you, Jason, we're almost 16,000 deals into this, and I'm not sure I would do this deal because it sounds like a distraction.
I agree. I'm not sure I would too. Because next thing you know, I mean,
Now you
well,
got
especially because the
sure.
seller wants a higher price. Well, that already doesn't like it. Yeah, and I got people that want to go look at stuff. Okay, great. And then what am I going to have to do? Somehow get them into these cabins? I mean, I don't want to deal with all that stuff. So that's what you have to think about. Jason, other Jason says, any tips on hunting land? Do you have any stories? Oh yeah. No, seriously, I have good ones. Well, remember those guys? I had these military guys, and that's what they were looking for. They wanted large acreage. This was West Texas stuff a while back, and they were all excited about very little access, huge properties where they could go out and hunt. So seriously,
Hunt with a 50.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, what they were hunting, I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, what do you have to add, Jack?
Hunting land is now just another positive use or separating yourself attribute from the rest of the regular vacant land out there. So it's good.
I might have been reading, was somebody in Success Plan, or I was reading somewhere else. I think somebody started a thread somewhere about like elk or a specific animal that they were talking about hunting.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you. David even says, he's like, I sell the heck, Jill's term, out of hunting land. So yeah.
That's good to know. What we're seeing is a huge uptick in off the grid property.
Mm-hmm.
Get creative where you sell this stuff. My hobby right now is like the solar panel / wind farm thing, and it's a whole cult out there of people that they don't think that we should be connected to the grid at all, and that it's not necessary. I'm trying to argue with them, and I can't. They're actually right. So, but they all have the perception that land is too expensive. That what stops them from doing all this stuff is not the cost of this equipment or anything, but the land's too expensive. And Jill and I rapidly dispel that, and you should too.
Well, that's a good idea. David said he tells his photographer to take pictures of animal droppings, like deer, antelope, to prove they were on the property. Hey, that's actually a good idea.
Good. It's fertilizer too.
That's a really so so really what's going on behind the scenes is David's out there he's walking on with like putting tracks in the ground. Just kidding. No, but that's good. Farone asks, any forecasts and when offers to owners is going out?
Well, offers to owners is done, and the relationships are done. We're in the final stages of training the person that's going to handle taking the inbound phone calls to help you do the mail merge.
Mm-hmm.
But you can check out with promo code O20, capital O, the number 2 and O, right on Land Academy, and effectively get it right now. You have to do your own mail merge, but that's what Chapter 5 is for anyway. So it's available now at the same price. We will release the 800 number where you can call and get direct help from us to do your mail merge and help you with the data within the next 30 days. Is that safe to say, Joe?
Mm-hmm. O20, well, offers to owners, not owners' data. Because offers to owners is really basically the silver membership.
That's right.
So yeah, where you're doing it all yourself. Now, owners' data, which is coming, where we're going to have somebody do a mail merge for you, that's another thing.
That's not the case, sweetheart. Owner's data is RealQuest Lite.
Oh, excuse me. I'm looking at some notes of the things that were coming up down the road here, and I got that. Sorry, you're right. That's a whole nother thing. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
No, you're cool. No, we're good. But offers to owners, excuse me, it's going to be we're going to have different pricing. It's not going to be 49 cents with us doing the mail merge.
Right.
That's the part that's coming.
If you do your own mail merge and do all the work to get it into the mail and send it over to Letterstream, it's 49 cents a unit. Mm-hmm. And then 8 cents a record, I guess, right? 8 cents a record download. You can do that now. You can check out it and become a member for $250 a month and do that now. We're going to release a website called Offers to Owners soon here, where you can call an 800 number. And if you don't feel like doing the mail merge yourself, you can get a lot of help for that with it. And it's a different price. It's a little bit higher. The net effect is the same. It's just if you want someone else to do the work, that's it.
Cool. Okay, Juan asks, hey guys, thanks for everything you're doing and all the great resources you provide us. I'm absolutely loving going through the program. I'm almost done with my county research. Good. I have 10 counties as candidates for my first mailer. My question is regarding the back tax data on success plan. Oh, I just solved this again, and I put it, I'll tell you here in a second, Juan. Specifically regarding the date and the list post data columns. What's the difference between, this is, Juan, you must be the one that I showed you to it yesterday, so yeah. What's the difference between these? Is there anything specific that we need to look out for in these columns? You gonna pull that up?
Yeah, I am.
Cool. So everyone who does not know this, we had put this out there and then we didn't, and so I need to re-advertise, explain it, and we put it in the newsletter that went out today. I'm going to start putting it a few more places. So when you go through the program and you're looking for those other sites, Jack solved the problem here as he's showing on the screen. Go to resources, go to research. You see back tax lists and you see the population maps too. So both those are there for you.
So it's loading because it's XML table and it's 24,000 rows. And so the question is column headers.
What's the difference between date and list post data? Like the sale date?
Yeah. Sale date and list post data. So this is the sale date for this county, 2013. This could be a little more clear. And this is the sale date. Sale date and the list post data is when they posted the data on the internet for everybody to take a look, or notified them in the if it's a really rural county, that's where they post the data in a newspaper. Then the actual sale date or the auction is the date where that's highlighted.
Cool.
For the purposes of using this data, it doesn't matter. What you need to look at is 2013, the county that I highlighted, there was one property.
Exactly.
Some people avoid it.
It goes on to say, also, while looking at the current properties listed in the date at different counties, I'm seeing some counties with minimal activity like we're talking about. Yep. Some have thousands and some have 200 to 500. I'm tempted to try the counties with thousands of active listings, but I'm concerned about the amount of the current competition. Would you advise against going into a county with so many current listings, or is this viewed as a positive?
I would do both, since you're doing the right thing by doing 10 counties. Diversify the whole thing from a geography standpoint, and then try some of the counties that have a ton of properties that have back taxes, and some counties that have none or in between. Mm-hmm. Jill and I just talked about this on a show that we recorded today. Some counties, Jill and I are bottom scrapers. We either scrape the bottom or we buy multi-million-dollar ranches in California, like movie star type ranches. There's a lot of people in this group, and I talk to them every week doing deal review and data review, that do stuff in between. They buy a property for $50,000 and sell it for $150,000. For some reason, Jill and I haven't done that. I'm not sure why. I just don't. I guess it's just our personalities. So we tend to look at data, use the data two ways. The bottom scraping data, where there's a lot of back tax property, and there's no shortage of that anywhere in the country, especially out west. Or we look at it from a subdivision standpoint, like we did in Santa Barbara, and we do in Santa Barbara, and we really microscopically look at large pieces of property that way. So it's up to you.
Good questions.
I have these are awesome questions this week. I have recent conversations where everybody uses it differently, and I have no example of where it has not worked. It's all about pricing.
Oh my gosh. I just read the first line of the second sentence of Anwar's here. Another deed question, but it seems a little concerning. I sold all my properties to one buyer. Fantastic. He wanted to close through escrow. Cool with me. Escrow agent tells me that he cannot pass title. Oh gosh. As is, because in Arizona, it's a community state, and the deeds did not have the marital status on them. Oh, come on.
Find a different escrow agent.
Yeah. Now he's saying, yeah. Now he's saying we have to go back to all of the owners, 5 of them, and get some addendum. I'm nervous now. Since these people have their money, they're going to say it's not my problem. No. Has anyone encountered different escrow?
Exactly. Yeah, get a different escrow company.
That's really funny. Hey, Steve. Steve said, what'd you say?
Onward. That's an awesome question.
Yeah.
Do not lose sleep over that. If you have to go to a fourth escrow company, go ahead. It's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. Just rewatched the Landing Cabinet video, chapter 5.
I'm sorry, Joel. 1 second.
Oh, sure.
Google Dora Goodmiller at Pioneer Title and tell her I sent you, and she will solve this for you. She's not just and let me know how it goes, please, directly. Dora Goodmiller. Go ahead, Joe.
Cool. All right. Steve said, I just rewatched chapter 5. Whew. Just for fun? Just kidding. That's funny. I was actually watching chapter 5 a little bit today, too, as a matter of fact. I really was.
There's a story there. Why would you
I was. Do you know why I watched chapter 5? I'll tell you why I watched chapter 5. Because your data scrub cheat sheet was coming up, and I was trying to identify the questions that we're getting and what I wanted to reiterate, and so I added it in the comments section. If everyone goes and looks back on below chapter 5, you see the little notes. I added a little comment in there that says, this is meant to be an example. You need to create your own little cheat sheet go step by step like Jack does with your own criteria. It's not like it's a magical form out there. It's just Jack messing around on a spreadsheet. So, yeah. So I kind of went through and said, hey, this is the purpose of this example. And there you go. So that's why I was watching it.
I had a member call last week, and this guy's doing really well. So he's like, I sent you guys some T-shirts, and I'm ordering you guys some T-shirts. Before I do, I need to know what your sizes are. Joe's small, and he said, you're an XL or a double XL, and I said, listen. Well, I watched you in the program, and you're for sure an XL or a double XL. I said, listen.
Don't look like that now.
I lost like 40 pounds since then.
Yeah. That is so.
That's a good thing I'm not a girl, because I would have curled.
Oh.
Anyway.
No, it's funny you say that, because one of my staff today said something, because I was doing the chapter 5 thing, and she's like, boy, look at what he looks like then. I said, right. It was very, very different. That's so darn funny. Okay. No, you're right. Of the CDs, no, it's the same resource. You get chapter 5, and if I remember correctly, it's like 34 minutes into chapter 5, disc 1, because I just did it today. Yeah, the camera adds 5 pounds. Thank you, Chip. Camera adds 40 pounds. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. So back to Steve's question about chapter 5 and whoever that person is there. Any additional tips on county research using RealQuest for higher value land type counties and picking lot acreage ranges and value ranges for picking a new county?
There's a lot of questions in that one sentence there. Do I have any additional tips? Hell yes, I have a lot of additional tips. It just depends on what you're going for. If you want to buy industrial land, which I'd say right in chapter 5, don't do that. We don't do that. Then you should, obviously sort for that. I have so many tips that we don't have time for them. Mm-hmm. Just scrub out what you want. Scrub out what you're going for.
Yeah, that's good. Kathleen said a ton of people are interested in hunting land. Yeah, scat. I remember that from a trip to the zoo. Seriously, a long time ago. It's good.
Creatively colored Play-Doh and make your own
scat
droppings.
That's right. Here's where you don't want to find scat: in your own backyard. Especially scat with bones in it.
What the hell, Jill?
No, seriously. Yeah.
Do you have a farm experience I don't know about?
Okay, this is funny. People here will like this. Remember the sign I showed you, Jack, coming up that long street that we come home on? It starts with an R.
Yeah.
There was it's here in Southern California in the South Bay. Everybody's a little bit of a tiff or whatever, worried because a coyote was spotted. Well, where we live in Arizona, That's very normal. I
They
mean,
come up and eat out of your hand in Arizona.
oh, exactly. And some parts have javelina, all that stuff. But around here,
Yeah,
everybody's getting
rodents in the
all,
urban areas
yeah, it's hilarious. But up here, they're getting all in a little bit of a whatever. So yeah, it's funny.
because they
Um,
eat small dogs, I think.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, your cat, you don't want your cat out. And so, okay, Jacob says, I'm thinking about sending out a mailer to an Alabama county. Have you guys ever done any deals in Alabama? And is there anything I should know?
Yeah, I bought a cemetery on accident in Alabama once.
Don't buy that, Jacob.
Well, Alabama is no different than I do not have a lot of experience in Alabama. There's a group of guys that I talk to on a regular basis during deal review on Thursday. Now it's on Thursday, and they have made the the southeastern states right there their target area, and they are absolutely killing it. And it turns out those
Mhm.
properties are the most. It's very easy to parcel out properties in that area of the country too.
Mm-hmm. Do Rowdy and Curia? I'm trying to think. They
They're Texas though.
yeah, but they do a lot of in that whole middle area there. I wonder if they have any Alabama. I don't know. So
It
yeah,
should work exactly the same.
hmm exactly. Yeah, you're right, David. Yeah, signs about stuff getting eaten by coyotes, and yeah, thank you, Eric. Yeah, it's like whatever it is. If there's bones in it, they ate something that has bones. It's funny. Haven't done Alabama, Arkansas, and Tennessee though. Okay, got it. Dude, and Curie's without power like since Sunday. Like
Wow.
no electricity since Sunday, and not expecting it until Saturday. My goodness.
I just got a
Yikes.
bunch of solar panels from Amazon, and that would solve that.
There you go. All right. David said, I have a seller with 4 small continuous lots between 1.76 and 1.9 acres in the Baca Grande subdivision near Crestone in Sequatchie County, Colorado. They will not. They will sell them to me for $600 each with title insurance, and they pay closing, which for that price, I'm not sure how valuable. Title insurance and closing costs are lowest comp on Land Watch, 2.8 acres and under at $2,800. I bet I can get 506K. Really? On terms. What? I was getting ready to pull the trigger and just found out that the Property Owners Association charges $250 per property transfer fee. I agree, he said, bastards. Would you still do the deal or go back and offer to split the POA fee? I love this.
I like how you say bastards, Joe.
Yeah. It's the Irish in me. So, um,
Jill and I just did a whole the whole 23andMe thing where they do all your genealogy, your genome, and the whole thing, man. And we found out that Jill's the majority Irish.
yeah.
It explains a lot of stuff for me.
Yeah. I still have that little bit of Cherokee that pops up, and that's why I have brown hair and brown eyes. I don't look Irish, but it's there. All right,
Would I
would you do
still
this deal?
I don't know. Yeah, probably. What the first thing I would do is with the HOA is really try to negotiate with them. Where I would call them and say, "Do you have any for sale?" Where you can waive the fee that are cheaper. So
That's
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
4 lots. It's going to be $1,000 just to do the transfer. Yeah. Can you negotiate with them? That's
If
kind
you
of.
can you get 10,000 out of the whole thing revenue, then 1,000 is not so bad. I think I would do it because he's all set up. David's all set up to sell property there. He's got a bunch of buyers in his back pocket.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That does. Hey, I'm glad you checked it though. Like many of us on this call, it's better you found out now about the transfer fee than later. And I'm curious too if the association dues are current, because that brings a whole nother thing in there. It could be, yeah, you owe me $250 per transfer, and by the way, this one they each owe $300 in back fees.
Exactly.
So we got to think about that too. All right. Oh gosh, okay, here's a good one. Tomas said, poor grandpa got duped back in 1973 to buy in Lake Placid, Florida, 1 acre for $3,200. Everything there is, yeah, this happens. Everything is selling around 3,000 to 11,000. How could I sell it for my relatives? Payments. Oh, your grandpa.
Oh, your own personal grandpa.
Oh, no, he'd be lucky to get out what he put in.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
Yeah, move on.
Yep.
So it'd be my first landy on a good way to test the process. Good to know about any HOAs. Yeah, check that too. So yeah, sometimes, you know, Tomas, I mean, have I bought property from people in this exact situation and they said, gosh, I doggone it, I bought it for $3,200 and you're the only single person who is willing to buy it from me, and a thousand's the best you can do, and I'm having to say, yeah, a thousand's the best I can do. And they either say yes or they say no. And often, like in this situation, they're going to say yes because it's something. And that's the way it goes, you
Right.
know? Things just happen. Who knew that area didn't pan out like they thought it would?
Yep.
And that's okay. All right. Let's see. I'll dupe my sister and buy her a trailer to move right in. Oh, that's so funny. That's really good. Okay. Chuck says, I've been sending out mailers to get responses from sellers who want to sell. From there, I send offers after researching value. I'm new to your approach and just sending offers. Sending offers. How do you determine the value before the offers are sent? Possibly a rookie question that is explained by the fact that I'm a rookie to land, not houses. I don't think Chuck's in has all the inside track information that all we have. A lot of us on this call, but to just so you have some backstory, Jack.
Is he a member?
No.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. So we can help. How can we can help? I'm trying to think how we can help right now.
Well, we address this heavily in the cash flow from land program. But the basic rule of thumb is that some of us follow and some of us don't. We all kind of do our own thing that works. But I look at what's for sale, not what's completed sold, but what's for sale in the market. And then I try to price my stuff around 20 to 40% of the lowest priced property in that market.
Mm-hmm. And we don't send out, I'm wondering too what kind of offers you're sending, because what we do, Chuck, is we send out offers with a dollar amount already on it, because I don't want to say, hey, if you want to sell, call me, because every single person's going to call me, and
That's
I
a
don't want
waste of
that.
time and money.
So I want to send only offers to the people that I identify ahead of time, and this is the price I'm willing to pay.
Yeah.
Now, if this sings to you, now I want you to sign this and send it back, or whatever. So that's how we go about it, and we're doing 1,500 to test a county. That's what we come in at. Some of our members even do more. Many people on this call have said, well, I just sent out 3,000 offers yesterday. We're all like, all right, hold on to your hat. Here it comes. So.
Yeah. So the whole point is that you're looking for a situation. Most of the members here have heard us say this a million times. You're looking for a situation, not the piece of real estate. That's why driving for dollars is so silly. Mm-hmm. Who cares what the house looks like? You're looking for a family that really just wants to, for whatever reason, they just got your offer and they're like, heck yes, I don't really care what the price is. I just want to sell my house, or I just want to sell my land. I need some money, or somebody passed away, or it's a situation you're looking for.
Yeah, and then what I do too, Chuck, is I send out 1,500 offers to buy whatever it is for $900 each. Now I got 6 back, and now I'm going to go and spend more time and research.
Exactly.
And make sure, do I really want to buy it? Does it have all my access and all the things that I look for? And do I still even like my $900 offer? And
I mean, that's like David 2 questions ago. Mm-hmm. David said, "Oh yeah, they're ready to sell. We got the whole deal together, and I'm looking into it now. I'm finding out that maybe I don't want to buy it." That's how there's no way you have enough time to research everything before you send the offers out. That's what a lot of people do, and that's why they never get any traction in their career. They do it backwards.
That's right. So, but good question. I'm glad you asked that. Thank you. Oh, Girl Scout on Long Island. Oh, girl from Long Island. Scat. I love it. Oh, was part of her learning curve with this land thing. Now she knows what scat is.
Yeah.
I love it. That is so funny.
Yeah. Wear boots.
I love it. Kathleen, one of our people in our office is from New York too, and Jack and I crack up at the things that she shares with us because it's so darn funny.
I wrecked a
So.
perfectly good pair of Gucci loafers once looking at real estate. The exact thing we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. You're welcome, Chuck. Okay. Uh, Farron asked, hate to go all, oh, this is good. Hate to go all ADHD on you guys.
Too late. You're
I,
good. You're in like kind people here. Trust me.
yeah, don't
We're all
worry.
cool.
We're all used to it. um, we're really interested in learning the specifics of mailing, SFRs, single family residences, for quick flips to my home flipper buddies. Awesome.
Dude, that's what we do.
Yeah. Thought that was in the Offers to Owners program.
Oh.
Am I wrong in that thinking? Like I said, sorry for my ADHD, but I'm busy selling land lately and I'm becoming forgetful. It's a good problem to have.
So the O2, here's what Offers to Owners is. It's access to RealQuest Pro, like all of us have, and it's access to LetterStream at a deep discount, like all of us have. But here's what's added: you get somebody to help you from our team do the mail merge itself. We'll get it in the mail for you. What we found is that there's a big bottleneck for people that are relatively new, and they can't get past it. Can't get past the data piece of this, crunching data and getting it in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Offers to Owners helps you with.
Mm-hmm.
The data set, RealQuest Pro data set, includes houses. It includes every single every single real estate type there is, not just land. So can you start doing this with houses today? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely could. You could pick out a subdivision, call the 800 number and say, I'd like to offer $122 a square foot for every property in this subdivision or in this APN scheme. And I'd like to have it done today. And that can happen. That's what Offers to Owners is. If you want, I don't know if they're a member now, Jill, are they?
Farron is? I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So you have access to the data to do it right now if you want to.
Exactly. Yep. Tomas said the same thing. I'm getting hounded by rehabbers, and there's so much expensive MLS crap out there, and driving for dollars and bandit signs is so 90s. You
Absolutely.
are,
I love it.
Tomas,
Can you copy?
thank you. Oh, that makes me feel so good.
Jill and I beat our heads against the wall saying this to people at meetups and stuff, and they look at us cross-eyed, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm like, is it 1975? What the heck? Thank you. I just copied that. All right. Good. All right. Michael asked, I recently sold a couple of low-priced properties from a subdivision that was picked up in one of my mailings. After further investigation into the subdivision, I found that there are a good number of parcels owned by First American Title.
This is a brilliant question. And
I'm thinking I would like to contact the title company to see if they would be willing to sell some of the parcels. Is it a waste of time, or should I just send more mail?
You should do both. You should always send more mail, and you should also contact them, because here's why. It probably says FATCO, First American Title Company. Here's why they own property. What happens is people buy property like us, and then they sell it on a deed of trust scenario where the escrow agent puts together all this stuff, and they're the trustee, and the buyer stops paying. They stop making payments on it, and the seller says, which is us, well, I'm not going to pay $1,000 per property to undo this deed of trust. Screw it. I'm walking away from the deal. And so FATCO or any other title company that's orchestrating this stuff, they end up owning the property. So hell yeah, I've done deals directly with title companies. So yes, I would pursue it. The whole key to buying stuff from a title company or any big company like that is getting to the right person who can actually make the decision. And if you do that, they want to get that off their books. They do not want to own property. That's not their business. Their business is writing title. They're an insurance company, escrow company. So yeah, if you get the right person, they might even give them to you.
Nice. Savannah, hey Savannah, asked, care to elaborate on your investments in solar farms?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any investments yet. And I've been told by some people, and so ever since we started talking about this, I've talked to some industry experts about it because they heard our show or they were on the call or one of them became a member because of this. So I'm in the education process now, but it turns out it's harder to get a deal. It's harder to sign a deal with a public utility company than I thought, but that's not going to stop me. That just makes me want to try harder.
Hey, Tomas, dude, you're just full of good quotes here. Ready, shoot, aim. He's right. Get ready, send the mailer out, shoot, aim. It comes back. Now I'm going to decide if I really want to pull the trigger.
That's right.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Oh, and your shoe thing is a Long Island sin, by the way.
I know.
I love it.
Funny story about here. Here's some insight on how Jill thinks.
Uh-oh.
I wear this specific type of shoe that got discontinued.
Yes.
And so what does she do? Calls around the damn country, finds who still has some stuff in stock and buys them all.
I did. I have a
So
stack
I found
of them.
just like a year ago. I mean, these aren't cheap shoes. She buys all these shoes and she's like, so I have enough for the rest of my life. That's the kind of girl I'm with.
Yep.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. Brandon asks, is it better to go for small deals like 1 to 5 acres or larger parcels like 40 to 160 acres?
Here's what I think is great to do in the beginning. Sell the larger properties for cash. So you really can get beefed up good bank balance. You know, buy 40 for $4,000, sell it for 8 or 10. Do that a bunch of times. Then take that money, that big bank balance, and buy a bunch of 5-acre, 10-acre properties, 1 to 5 acres, and sell them on terms. So you're buying them for, let's say, $1,500 and selling them for $12,000, $13,000, $20,000 on terms. And if you do the math, the ROI on that, you're knocking it out of the park. So the answer is.
Thank you. I love it. Aaron asked, hi, I just talked with another member about partnering. I'm the money guy. Whoop, now we all know that.
Hey, if you need money, talk to Aaron.
Call Aaron. That's Thanks. Thank you very much. And he does the rest. I love it. We're doing a 50-50 split in the profits. Awesome. This is good. We just covered this today. Should I set up a partnership agreement or an LLC or both or something else? I'm just wondering how to best set up this partnership so everyone is happy and we both know what is expected from each other. Any advice or thoughts? Thanks.
May I, Joe?
You sure may.
This is what I do, and I've done in the past. This is what we do on these really large deals. If we don't know each other, if the two partners don't know each other at all, what I say is, let's do it before we go get in LLCs and get all happy about everything. Let's do 1 or 2 or 3 deals together. So in the next 30 days or so, I'm going to bring you a deal. It's one that we sourced. It's the deal. We're going to buy it, or we can buy it. Now, if you want to ante up, and we'll put a little 1-page agreement that says, we're going to deliver this deal. You're going to put all the money up. We're going to close it, and we're going to sell it for you. In fact, we won't even bring you a deal that we have. We'll bring you one that's pre-sold. So let's say it's $4,000. You pay in the $4,000. We sell the property, dual escrow it for 20 cash, and then the net proceeds, which are 16, you get 8 and I get 8. You like it? Yeah, I call it the asshole test. And I say that. We're going to test. If you think I'm an asshole, I think you're an asshole, then we don't do anything ever again, and we didn't waste any time doing an LLC. But if we end up clinking beers at the end and we want to do it again and again and again, which is usually what happens, then let's put an LLC together. You put a bunch of money in there, and we promise that we'll never spend a dollar of any of the money on anything except real estate. We won't spend it on mailers. We won't spend it on research or R&D or travel and entertainment or a single malt scotch or anything. That's my recommendation. After the third deal and it all works okay, then you start getting lawyers involved.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Now, Tomas asks where his Florsheim loafers are. Did your wife know, or your girlfriend, that that's your shoe? I love it. Eric asks, what's a good method or process to take back the property from a default term customer. We have a notarized promissory note and a deed, and the deed is still in my name.
Well,
Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sounds like you have nothing to do.
It sounds like to me too. You did it right. You did everything right.
You did everything right. Because you know what? Here's my experience, Eric. I will try to work with these people. I'll try to find them and say, hey, what's going on? You went dark. Do you need some time? Do we need to rework the agreement? So, maybe make it less money, longer payments, whatever. I try to keep them in the loop because they have paid me some money. But if I can't find them, then they're hiding from you, has been my experience. They're at the point like, oh shoot, don't, when they go dark and you can't find them, they're more worried you're going to come after them and say, look, you owe me, $8,000 still. You only paid $2,000, and we have an agreement. And they're darn happy, by the way, when you don't come after them. They know they just walked away from $2,000. They're just happy they're not on the hook for $8,000 more.
Yeah.
So, you just make sure you give yourself a cushion of time, and you do your, due diligence so they don't come back and go, here I am, after you resold it. And if it did happen, you just would refund the second guy. But usually they're long gone. Give yourself some time, and you just start all over again. And you just say, hey, I just got $2,000 and I'm going to sell it again. So do you want to add anything, Jack?
Some people make that their business model.
Mm-hmm.
They bank on the fact that they're not going to pay the whole thing out. They keep the same 25 properties forever.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Exactly. Tomas said, would you stay on the low end housing when searching for the ones that usually crazy landlords want for Section 8? Oh, here in Central Florida, $30,000 to $300,000 is considered on the low side.
Yeah, in California, you can't buy anything for that. In Southern California, in Los Angeles.
Right.
No, I would not. I'm not a Section 8 type person. There's some people that's what they buy. Section 8 is a government program that assists people with their rents.
Right. Low income.
I see a lot more Section 8 apartment buildings than I do houses.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're looking for houses to buy, what we talk about, I already wrote the next program, this SFR program. You want to find a buyer first. If you have a Section 8 guy that loves Section 8 housing and he says, man, if I had 52 of these properties in this zip code for $38,000, man, I would buy those from you all right now. Mm-hmm. That's when you send a mailer out. So to you're just wholesaling houses. You don't care. You're marking them up $10,000 and running out of there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right. I love this one here that Michael asks. And I'm curious what your answer is. I think it might be the same. Michael said, what's a good down payment to get from a buyer that typically prevents a default?
Yeah, I think default people, Jill, you are really close to this and I'm not. But I think the people who default, it's just all across the board. You're never going to know. Mm-hmm. People just run out of money. And the first thing they do, rather than, if they need money, they're going to stop making that payment. Mm-hmm. And especially they know it's not going to affect the credit. 20%, it takes a lot longer, but my dad does this with houses in Michigan. He's been doing it for a lot of years and he gets 20% down. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. Jill and I have a friend who does it strictly with, how do I put this? She builds a house for next to nothing, by the way. She steals the land, builds a house with her own hand-picked crew, and then handpicks people from Mexico who are hardworking and pay cash to live there. And then she sells them the house. And she gets 20% down.
Okay, so here's my answer. You know what my answer is?
It's easy, Joe.
What's my good down payment? Yeah. What's my good down payment from a buyer that I want to make me feel good about this? My purchase price. I'm not kidding. You laugh, but I bet if I said to raise a hands, I can tell that there's a lot of people in this group right now on this call that have bought properties for 500 and then on terms for 3,000. And guess what their down payment was?
500.
500 bucks. And then you know what? Now you know all my payments, my $99 for 3 years is gravy. So whenever that guy defaults, I don't care. It already paid for it. So that's my
Jill and
answer.
I have a friend in Arizona who does that with cars.
Mhm.
He buys a car at an auction for $2,000. He sells it for 8,000 with $2,000 down.
Yep. Bingo. Then you never sweat it.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke asks, hey, there's a county in West Texas with the 82 people called Loving County.
I bet they
Oh,
all
that's
work at the county.
nice. Got a guy looking to sell his land. No market out there. What would you do? 160 acres.
If
That's
it's got, I
cool.
think you could probably subdivide that. If it's got access, hopefully two-side access, Luke, call me. I'll do that deal with you.
And one of those 82 people is going to want to give it to all of their 26 second cousins. Sell the land there. That's awesome. That's crazy. David said Jack is exactly right on finding a buyer for wholesaling, and that buyer will be your area research vehicle in case you decide to cherry pick and keep one here and there. I've done a lot of SFRs, so that's
Yeah,
cool. Yep, that's good.
that's got to be a world record.
We can all get real detailed in our data. You know, we can do intersections, zip codes. I only want 3 bedroom, 2 bath, no basement. I don't know. I mean, dream it up. We have all that information at our fingertips. Kathleen asked, and has anyone ever worked in a state in which a land contract is recorded and considered a mortgage, which would need to be foreclosed upon if the buyer flakes? What other instruments could be used to structure a terms deal and avoid the judicial foreclosure process?
I think that
Totally.
this would, I think Colorado's like that. I'm not sure. I recall something like that. And then because you don't really record a land contract, it ends up being a deed of trust. And I would heavily research that. So a land contract is meant to just be a contract between two people, and a deed of trust is meant to be recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never heard of recording a land contract, but it's possible.
Yep.
Some states require you, no matter whatever you call it, to record it.
Go. I see what we're looking at. Luke even added, and they have a county clerk, but no sheriff or police. There's your marketing. No one's going to bother you because there's no one to call. Look, the population went up in 2014 from 82 to 86, so apparently 4 babies were born.
I'm not gonna touch that. I hope that they were conceived through passersby and not the people who are 19th generation in that same county.
Exactly.
Jill and I lived or not lived, we had a cabin in Crown King, Arizona that had about the same number of permanent residents in it. I think they're literally 86. And there was no police, or it was all county driven police, and it took an hour for anyone to get their police or fire. And that town pretty much took the legal process, judicial process in their own hands. And it was crime free because of that. Take that how you will.
Mm-hmm. Oh my, these comments you guys are writing are hilarious. You're cracking me up. I can't read them out loud. Chuck said, yeah, I do, Chuck. Any tips on paying less for your offer on a 40-acre landlocked parcel? Absolutely. Because what we do, Chuck, in our letter, our offer letter, it has, 6 different clauses, like this is all dependent on me verifying this and that and all the good things. And one of the things is I need to, so they sign the offer, they send it back. I go look it up and I realize, oh my gosh, there's no access. Well, number one, do I even still want it? Depending on the property, if it's, I got the right price and it's a right acreage, obviously, and some other, maybe it's got some gorgeous attribute, but you just can't really get to it, then I would go back to him, and I would even send him photos. Jack's done videos for me that I've given to the sellers and said, look, I've gone back. Have you seen your property lately? Because it's hard to get there, and even though I said I'd spend, 6,000 on or whatever it is, I looked at it, and honestly, I could do it, but I could only offer you 4 because I'm not sure I could get much more for it because of the access issue, and then let them say yes or let them say no. So, and then move on. But more importantly, do I even want it now that I know it's hard to get to? Because that's especially when you're starting. We talk a lot, Chuck, in our program about what we call them the 4 A's. It's access, attribute, acreage, and affordability. So when I'm really starting out, I want to make my life easy. I want all the 4 A's.
Yeah.
I don't want to be dealing with people that can't get to it, and I have to explain that to them and help them and, whatever. So it's a good question.
David's setting us straight in Colorado. He says Colorado does not require a deed of trust. Only title companies require it for title insurance on a terms deal. So
Yeah.
David's the king of Colorado.
Yep.
Or at least the most vocal person about it.
That's good. From Kelly. No, I don't think I did. Did I just say a bad word? I don't think I did.
It sounded like you did, but I know what you said. It was actually pretty funny. I chose not to call you out on it.
Oh, thank you. That's hilarious. I don't know what I said. I know the word, obviously, but that's really funny. I love it. If I did, Kelly, sorry, everybody, then that was an accident. So I love it. Tasha. Okay, Jason said, speaking of F-bombs, would Jack and Jill want to attend a Tosh.0 taping? Hey, heck yeah. Wait, is this our Jason? Is this?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. Is this the Jason who I'm thinking of that we met in person not long ago? If it is the person I'm thinking of, the answer, yeah. Heck yeah, I want to come.
I'll do it.
Please. Yeah, please, please, please. So send me, I'm in charge of the calendar. So send me an email, Jason. That would be awesome. I would love, speaking of the F-bomb, that's awesome. I love it. That'd be great. All right. Yeah, I'd love to hear what deals and stuff you're doing.
So Jill and I are eating dinner a couple of days ago, and Jason Siegel sits down right next to us at the bar. And I started ask us questions and stuff. We don't know the guy. And I said, we're Jack and Jill. And so he gets his phone out and he finds us and he's like, oh, you guys have it. You're the land people. Then he starts talking about a farm he just bought. And all we talked about was land.
It's the funniest thing. It was so cute. He was literally on the other side of Jack, and we're sitting at this bar, and it was because I made a comment about the appetizer. He was eating really slow, and it's like my favorite appetizer. I'm like, do you not like it? Is something wrong? It's rocks. And I lean over to say something. He looks up and is like, no, I love it. I'm just eating slow. I have to go pick up my girlfriend at the airport, and I'm killing some time. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, it's Jason Siegel. This is really cool. So yeah, so as we left, we were cracking up because he's looking at it. As we leave, we're saying bye and have a good evening, all the good stuff. He's like, look, I have you on my phone. And there are our faces right on his cell phone. Oh, guy. That's really funny.
He really needs to raise his standards.
Oh, it's hilarious. So yeah, our staff keeps saying, all right, if he reaches out, I want to be the one to help him. Like, yeah, we got it. So funny. All right, are we going to wrap it up here with Chip's question? Okay. Chip asked, if the seller is located in Florida and I'm in Florida, but the property is in Arizona, can we do a close at a local title company in Florida, or would they have to be in Arizona?
Yes, you can do a local title closing in Florida, but here's what they're going to do. The local title company in Florida is going to call. They're going to do the same thing you would do. They're going to go on the internet, go on Google. They're going to find the title agent that's the closest to the property geographically. And they're going to cut a deal with that person, with that title company. If it's First American or something like that, it'll all be in their company and they're each going to get paid. So do yourself a favor and just find a local title company close to the property. Hopefully a mom and pop. For a lot of years, Jill and I plugged First American. We've been having problems with First American recently. We're having a lot of luck with small little mom and pop type title companies. That's what I would do.
Exactly. Okay, can I sneak one more in here for David?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. All right, David said access issue. I have a fantastic 40, welcome Chip, wooded water and some of the best hunting in Colorado under contract for 8,000. The subdivision is 3,000 acres, and if you own land there, you can hunt the entire 3,000 acres.
Wow.
Wow.
Huge sell point.
Wow, there are elk everywhere. I thought this was a run to the bank deal and found several comps for $40,000 to $60,000. Then I sent my photographer up there, and the road is washed out a mile short of the property. The only way to access the property would be on foot or ATV.
Even better.
Not even a pimped out Jeep will make it. Uh, Repairing the road will be very expensive, and our thoughts are wash out again. Would you option it or pass?
I would buy it.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of
If
that.
it's heavily wooded and all that stuff, yeah, I would.
Okay, so if you have several comps for 40 to 60,000, so buy it
Yeah.
for 8 and sell it for 20.
Yeah, exactly. I would. I mean, at the very least, I would option it. I don't know what your acquisition budget's like, but I would. That wouldn't stop me at all. People love that. They want that to, it saves them from putting a fence up or whatever ends up happening.
Mm-hmm. I think that's awesome. What an attribute.
Yep.
I mean, and 40 acres wooded. Oh, somebody's going to love that. There's people out there.
There are rural guys that own Caterpillars that, they live for repairing roads like that and buying. So I would sell it and say the road's washed out. This is why it's so cheap. If you
Mhm,
can fix the road, you're going to get a hell of a deal on this piece of property, and I'd be shocked if you have it for longer than
mhm.
a couple of weeks.
Yep. Or just talk about, I mean, gorgeous off the grid. You want gorgeous off the grid hunting land? Boy, boy, have I got a piece for you. I mean, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Awesome. Okay. Kathleen said, yeah, of course. Oh, he's gonna put a sign up in Cabela's.
It's
I
perfect.
love it.
I've never thought of that. I love it. That's a
Uh-huh.
fantastic idea. Cabela's has a whole real estate department too. They might be a buyer for it.
Do they really?
Yeah. They have like Cabela's real estate. They have like hunting ranches and stuff.
I don't know that. Wow. Cool, cool, cool. All right, 4:10. David
Okay.
probably has a drink in his hand, and because now we know how much Irish I have, I'm going to in a few minutes too.
Are you really? Promise?
Well, in a little bit. I got a little more I got to do here, and then I will.
Maybe Stacy will come out.
Uh-oh. Here we go. I love it.
Hey, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us. As always, on Thursday, same meeting number and same time next week. Have a great acquisition week. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye. Welcome, David.